Today I'm going to be telling a story. Allison and Ava were twins. Both were very different. Allison was considered more of an outcast because she was different. And Ava was more of the popular twin. Going to school, Allison had a hard time because she never felt like she fit in. But also, Allison had autism. So she definitely struggled with feeling different. And Ava was a type, she always tried to be very supportive of her sister, but also had a hard time understanding what Allison was going through. One day at school, there was a new kid in class. His name was Nicholas. And as soon as this kid walks in, Allison feels drawn to him. And Ava looks over at her because they're at the lunch table and she asks her, she's like, "Why are you staring?" And Allison says, "I'm not staring." So Ava says, "Oh, that's the new kid, ain't it?" And Allison says, "I don't know." Ava says, "Well, do you have a crush on him? Maybe you should go talk to him." Allison's like, "No." Because Allison's very shy and she's a nervous girl. So that's the last they talk about it. And they go home. And their stepbrother is there, who has always had the biggest crush on Ava. They've known each other about 3 years, and Jack has always had feelings for Ava, but he can never tell her. So Ava that night tells Allison that she's going to sneak out. And Allison's more of the good girl. Ava's more young and likes to get into stuff. Sometimes she gets into a little bit too much trouble. So on this night, Ava tells Allison, "Why don't you just come out with me for one night? We'll have fun." And Allison says, "No, I can't do that." Well, Ava actually convinces Allison. Allison's like, "You know what? For a little bit." She's like, because the parents are very protective over Allison because she's gone through a lot, has a lot of health problems. So they've always been protective of her. And also, Ava's very protective of her twin sister. So they set their alarm for 1 o'clock. They both get up and they go out. At first, Everything's good. They're having fun. But Allison gets very uncomfortable easily. Like I said, she has autism, so she doesn't adapt well to new situations. And Ava knows this, so Ava, even though, she wants to have fun herself, she still tries to stay close to her sister. But at one point, a guy comes up to Ava and he asks her to dance. So Allison's kind of like left alone and starts freaking out. But that's when she notices that Nicholas is there. And he comes up to her. And at first she's scared. But when he starts talking to her, she realizes, like, he's the type of guy, he has piercings and tattoos, but she realizes that he's actually friendly. So she starts talking to him, and they become close. But all of a sudden, the police show up because the music was really loud and they got called. So Allison can't find Ava, so she gets a ride from Nick. She notices, though, something's kind of odd about Nick. He's a little different, and she feels like she's different herself, but she just feels like there's something different about Nick. But she likes him, and he drives her home, and that was it that night. The next morning, she sees Ava, and she's angry. And Ava apologizes to her. And that day at school, she doesn't sit with Ava. She's obviously angry at what happened because she feels like her sister just left her. So when they get home, Ava starts telling her, like, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. So they both say, it's okay. And that was that between them. Jack asked Ava if she wants to go to a concert with him because he bought tickets, and like I said, he likes Ava. He always has. But Ava's one, she does have feelings for Jack and she likes him, but she's also very young and confused of her feelings. But she says yes, and so they go to the concert. Well, the parents are out of town for a couple of days, so Allison's by herself. So it hits 10 o'clock at night and she hears a knock on her door, and she starts kind of freaking out because there shouldn't be anyone coming because she knows her sister and stepbrother will probably be late. When she opens the door, it's Nicholas. And he asks her if he can come in. And she invites him in. They hang out and they talk. And she asks him, what made him move to their town. And he tells her that basically his parents split. And so his mom just wanted to move. And she's like, okay, she accepts that answer. So they just start talking about different things, and they realize that they actually have a lot in common. They like the same music. And it gets really late. And he asks her, he says, do you want to go out with me? And she says, no. She says, I like you, but no. And he tells her, he says, just as friends, it'll be a fun night. So she starts to think about it, and she says yes. So he ends up going home, and he tells her the next day after school he'll pick her up around 7. So her sister comes home and her stepbrother, and they notice she seems more happier than usual. So Ava asks her, like, well, what happened? She tells her, and Ava tells Allison, she's like, just be careful, because Ava is protective over her twin sister. So the next day at school, everything's fine. Allison, though, is a type of kid that gets bullied a lot, and Ava always feels like she has to defend her. There's these couple of kids. They're the cheerleaders. There's Lindsay and her friends, Casey and Samantha, and they always pick on Allison. And growing up, they were actually all friends. Even Ava was friends with them until they just started picking on Allison. So they come up to Allison and they dump their tray on her, and Ava gets really angry. So Ava starts fighting, and the principal tells Ava she's suspended. Well, guys, I'm going to leave just that there, and I will do a second part to this story the next time. Thank you guys for watching.